students, welcome to the second unit of module 13, which deals with steps in quantitative content analysis. As explained in the earlier unit, quantitative approach is widely used in studying the diverse types of content in mass media such as newspapers, television and radio channels, and online news and social networking sites. An understanding of the critical features of quantitative content analysis and the procedural steps is a prerequisite for conducting studies with ease. The key features and procedural details of the first two steps are explained in this unit. Content analysis involves a sequence of 6 interrelated steps. For the smooth conduct of analysis, it is essential to follow the sequence of 6 steps, namely formulation of research questions, objectives and hypotheses, selection of sample and unit of analysis, categorization of content and defining categories, preparation of coding scheme and inter-coder reliability check, analyzing coded content and reporting the findings. Now let us begin with the first step, formulation of research questions, objectives and hypotheses. The process of developing research questions, objectives and hypotheses begins with the formulation of the research problem. In simple terms, a research problem is a statement about the subject of investigation. The specific aspects of the research subject chosen for investigation are stated in the form of research questions or research objectives or as research hypotheses. It is advisable to include a few, say 2 or 3 research questions or objectives and hypotheses. Generally, exploratory and descriptive studies will have research questions or research objectives. Hypotheses, on the other hand, are formulated and tested in explanatory studies whose aim is to ascertain the nature of relationship between independent variables such as newspaper and dependent variables such as the importance given to various types of news. The selection of sample and unit of analysis depends on the specific purpose of content analysis. In a quantitative content analysis of news media, purposive sampling and a kind of stratified sampling are often used in different steps of sampling. Generally, sampling is done in 3 steps: selection of the medium, sampling of days, and selection of the unit of analysis. In the first steps, depending on the study purpose, one or more than one medium is purposely selected. For example, if the study is to compare the news content of Hindi and English dailies, 1 or 2 Hindi and English dailies based on valid criteria such as circulation of the dailies can be selected for analysis. In the second step, a decision is made on the number of days the sample medium has to be analyzed. Analyzing the content for a few days may not produce reliable and valid results. Analyzing the content for too many days may not be practical due to time and resource constraints. For how many days the chosen medium or media should be studied again rests on the study objectives. The sample for studies aimed at investigating the news programming practices of mass media in general must be spread over a period of 3 months or 6 months or a year. A sample drawn from a prolonged period would have the potential to cover news contents of events which recur at specific intervals, such as parliament and assembly sessions and calamities due to heavy rains and floods and the like. Some such events and issues make news for days and weeks. Also, a prolonged period will capture the cyclic variations in content across the days of a week. For instance, weekdays will have a large number of news stories as compared to weekends. Hence, while deciding on sampling design, the cyclic variation and recurrence of certain types of news stories at specific intervals must be kept in view. Against this backdrop, several researchers have ascertained that a 12-day, that is 2 composite week sample would adequately represent any entire year's news content, and 1 composite week can represent 6 months content of a daily newspaper. For analyzing news content of online media, as many as 5 constructed weeks or at least 2 constructed weeks are needed to make accurate assessments. In the 12-day sampling, Sundays are excluded for the apparent reason that on Sundays, newspapers and TV news shows would have more soft stories on entertainment, art, literature, health and lifestyle. As a 2-week composite week design is commonly used, let us understand the composite week sampling procedure. Composite week sampling, also known as constructed week sampling, is a kind of stratified sampling in which a 6-day week from Monday to Saturday, excluding Sundays, gets constructed. For example, for constructing one composite week for January 2018, one Monday is randomly chosen from the 5 Mondays of the month and one Tuesday from the 5 Tuesdays of the month. Similarly, the remaining days of the week get selected until each day of the week is represented in the sample. In the construction of 2 composite weeks to represent a year, say 2018, a systematic procedure is followed in which each month is represented by 1 week and 1 day. The first composite week of 6 days is selected from the first 6 months of January to June. The second composite week is constructed from the remaining 6 months of July to December 2018. The first constructed week is formed by selecting Monday from the first week of January and Tuesday from the second week of February. In this manner, the remaining 3 days get selected from the months of April, May, June as shown here. Following the same procedure, the second composite week of 6 days is constructed from the remaining 6 months of July to December 2018 as shown here. Now let us go to the unit of analysis. Selection of the unit of analysis is the third step in the selection of the sample. Unit of analysis is the smallest element of content that serves as the basis for content analysis. The unit of analysis varies from content to content. In the analysis of editorial content of newspapers, the unit of analysis will be every news item, editorial, column, article, every letter of the reader's picture, depending on the focus of the study. If the focus of study is on political content, every news item dealing with political issues, events and personalities will be the unit of analysis. Now let us move on to the third unit, which deals with the remaining 4 steps of content analysis. Now let us move on to the third unit, which deals with the remaining 4 steps of content analysis. Thank you.